After 4 years, 5 movies, and multitudes of loyal fans, the Twilight Saga wraps up on November 16th with Breaking Dawn Part 2. Tribute's been there from the very beginning and has talked to all of the stars, including Kristen Stewart, Rob Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner. We've watched their growth throughout the entire series and how the fans have stayed tried and true.
We were constantly surprised by your passion and enthusiasm, so thank you for making this happen.
Most memorable experience that you're taking away from this? This interview.
I'd probably go with the time where I signed some girl's arm and she had it tattooed. That's some serious dedication.
Anytime I see anything from the first film, it's like, it does sort of just rocket me right back to that moment, and it does say something when it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, yet it was 5 years ago.
The following special takes a look back at some of those interviews, plus our most recent chat with the stars, for this reflection on the phenomenon that is the Twilight Saga.
How old are you?
17.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
The Twilight series is based on the popular novels written by Stephanie Meyer. At the heart of the books is 2 star-crossed lovers, Edward and Bella. But what made this series unique from the get-go is that Edward is a vampire and Bella a human. Twilight became an instant bestseller, with Meyer following up with New Moon, Eclipse, and finally Breaking Dawn. The franchise didn't truly become dominant until 2008, when the first movie premiered. In addition to the film grossing $392 million worldwide, the series locked up the top 4 spots on the year's list of bestsellers. Not only was a phenomenon born, but it launched the careers of Kristen Stewart, Rob Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner into the stratosphere.
I always knew that I was going to be a part of something special. And, I mean, that's what drove me to do it. The responsibility that I had for the project and the character that I played really, drove me to do the job and really work. But I was completely unaware of how huge it was. I mean, I sort of didn't believe people when they mentioned it.
When did it hit you that you knew that you were part of something really big? Jump in. Feel free to jump in. Comic-Con! Yeah. How do you deal with something like Comic-Con? That's nuts.
It was hard. I mean, we were all backstage, and I don't know about you guys, but I was sweating.
We didn't expect
Me
it.
too. I was shaking, couldn't pour our water up there. When Twilight, just the words came on the screen, just the roar from the crowd was just so scary for me.
Yeah, and you had to try to get Rob not to touch his hair while you were talking, because you'd be trying to answer a question, and Rob would run his fingers through his hair, and the screams would, ripple through the auditorium. It was insane.
I literally had no idea. I'd seen stuff on the internet and stuff, but walking into a room where they just projected the word Twilight and 7,000 people just screamed, just could not stop screaming. I remember standing backstage thinking what? And being terrified as I was walking up and just thinking I had no idea this was coming at all.
From the first time I read the book, which was about a year and 10 months ago, I knew that there was a passionate following, because you could go online and you could see that people had written songs and, made their own posters and had their own trailers, and so I knew that people really loved it.
With the cast established and fans wanting more, New Moon hit theaters, but this time the big change was the director. Catherine Hardwicke was out, and Chris Weitz took over the reins.
Part of the reason that I came on board was because I liked the cast so much from the first film, so I was really happy to inherit the people I did. I think they're really, really talented young actors.
I was literally only able to do anything that I did in the movie because of Chris. He literally builds an environment, creates such a structured entire environment for you to live in. So you don't feel like you're ever lying, and you don't feel like you're manipulating or doing your character, who you have such a responsibility for, an injustice, which is the worst feeling as an actor, that you're not doing something that's on the page. He made us feel very safe, and he let the scenes have their own life because he actually likes the story, and he wasn't so scared of controlling everything. And he's one of my favorite directors.
I think Bella's just kind of baffled by the whole thing. I mean, it's just he's just acting so weirdly. I think girls understand much more than they let on about male emotions, about stuff, and about male doubt and self-doubt and stuff.
It's a more demanding role, and also on the other side of it, more demanding because the movie's more in demand and people want it to be good. But I feel like because everybody wanted it to be good, it made us work harder. I know that sounds really obvious, but like I really believe in like positive energy. Everybody wanted it to be amazing, and so everyone was like, okay, you got it. We're gonna do that for you.
Kristen and I, really weird to say, I mean, we have a relationship like Jacob and Bella's, and it helps so much. We're so open with each other and honest, and we can just talk about things. It's great. Kristen's an amazing person.
Yeah, and then there's the introduction of, Jacob comes on heavy in this film, and, were you a little bit jealous that you didn't get to run around without a shirt on the whole time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I do.
Relieved.
I do. And literally, in seeing the questions, Tate has to go. Literally, every interview is like, so, your body? And he's like, yes.
This may hurt just a little.
No, please, please!
New Moon brought us closer to other key players from the books. We began to find out more about Edward's vampire family, the Cullens, Jacob's wolf pack, and the evil Volturi.
You put the wardrobe, you put those contacts in, you become a vampire.
It was really fun. It was something that was really interesting to me. I love the character. I love that she has this power and she kind of doesn't always use it for good, which whenever I've had power in one other movie, but it's always been used for good. So to be on kind of like the bad side of that was cool.
Michael, I have to say for you, the coolness factor with your daughter must be through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Well, she, in her bedroom now, she has New Moon posters everywhere. And right in the corner, tiny like that, is a little picture of me. So the fact that I made it on the wall at all is great.
Did she give you any tips about, when she found out that you were going to be cast, and did she, Dad, okay, listen, I got to tell you what the story's about? Did she kind of
she was the one I went to get the information on it, at first. And I asked her about the character of Aaron, and she said, yeah, he's really old and bald. Which kind of freaked me out. I thought, why am I going to... And then I read the book and went, no, he's not. But it went to show that, everyone who reads these stories has their own idea of these characters, and that's kind of a pressure that you come in and you hope that you can match up to what their expectations.
Happy birthday, Bella.
Let's open your presents. There's a cake, too.
Alice, that cake could feed 50. You guys don't even eat.
Thanks. Oh, there's a paper cut.
I think it really does feel more like a family than like friends.
Yeah.
Usually on movies you become friends with people and hopefully you maintain those friendships, but this really does feel like a family, and I don't know why. I mean, we're all very different, and yet somehow the chemistry of all of us works.
It's like they say you can't choose your
choose your family.
Well, you can't choose your co-stars either, so you're just sort of forced to love and accept them.
Yeah. It's nice to have each other, because we're all kind of going through the same thing, and we all kind of went through the journey together, so whenever it gets chaotic out here, we can always look to each other, and we have that.
You got to give credit to the casting and the director, Renee Haynes, John Melleton, and Chris Weitz, because when we came in, it was like a matter of hours, and then like boom, we clicked.
And it was so great because it wasn't forced either. It just happened, Like I've been on productions before where you try to meet people and you have to have chemistry and it has to be very forced. But right here, it just happened. Like it was like puzzle pieces, just came together so quickly.
Forces like Voltron.
Now, is it hard to find your inner wolves?
Hey, you know what? We all have like that animosity to us to begin with. You know what I mean? So
animalistic, primordial sense we kind of all instinctively have it.
It just happens.
We were able to like dig deep, bring it out, and I think it really shows on screen.
In the third installment, Eclipse, things intensify for Edward, Bella, and Jacob. Although the cast had settled into their roles, Eclipse brought yet another director on board, David Slade, and the evil vampire Victoria was now being played by Bryce Dallas Howard.
I feel like each director has kind of fit the film they directed. And David definitely brought his darker, more dangerous feel and all of his action, and it fit the movie very well.
It's really satisfying to play an unapologetically villainous character. It's just it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Not something you get to do in your everyday life, So it's kind of it's cool. But it also like the great thing about the characters that Stephanie Meyer has created, and especially the darker characters, is that they're also complex. It's never ever two-dimensional, and the female characters in the film are really fleshed out. It's really great to see some kind of cool female roles.
It's cool. It's really indulgent as an actor to be able to follow something for so long, but at the same time, it's like you want to get it out. It's like it's been a long time coming, and the story. I mean, like there are a million details in every book that I can't wait to live out.
It is the first time I've ever gotten to play the same character again, and what a fun one to get to play again. You know, I this time I had like a different costume and different hairstyle. I think all of that like adds to the drama of Jane and adds to who she is. And I love getting to explore that and expand upon what Stephanie has written in the books.
It's really nice to go back to set each time and know that you have this incredible support system behind you. It actually makes me much more comfortable because they are 100% behind us, and they've been very happy with what we're doing, and so we know we just have to keep continuing to kind of depict the book accurately, and I think we're doing pretty well.
Doesn't he own a shirt? It's weird how people have remained friends, especially as it's got bigger. I mean, you hear so many horror stories about, you know, people becoming famous and stuff, and then they just turn into these monsters. And, like, no one really has out of the cast at all. And I think I don't know, it's weird. Everyone's still stayed relatively grounded and stuff.
There's no question that the Twilight fans have been the driving force behind its success. Whether they wait hours on set to get a glimpse, or their attendance every year at Comic-Con, no one appreciates the devotion more than the stars themselves.
You never know what to expect when you show up to Comic-Con. You think you do, but you never really do.
It's amazing how determined they are. They still camp out for a week. There's absolutely no change since the first movie.
It's funny, it's easy for me to define now. Before I was always like, I don't know, it just feels cool. I really like sharing stuff with them. But now it's like, it's the same feeling that I get when I work with a certain actor or a certain director, where you go, hey, you know, I have this idea and I kind of, it makes me feel a certain way, and then they go, God, me too. And suddenly you're completely validated, and it's like why you do the job. You're like, wow, we got something together.
It has been unbelievable. It's just amazing to me that they've been here for 4 years, camping out, everything we do, Comic-Con, premieres, everything, and their passion is unreal. It really is like nothing else.
The great part of it is that they care so deeply, you know? And so when they really get what you're up to, you know?
I love the fans. They're the ones enabling us to really continue on and work, and they're not just Emmett fans now, they're my fans.
It's really encouraging to know that opening day there might be people who will come and see these stories, and I think when you do a film, that's the thing that's most nerve-wracking, is just, are people going to see it? You know, are people going to show up? And because of Stephanie's glorious work and because of all the hard work of everyone involved in these movies, people really appreciate them. So that's something that I think we're all really grateful for.
We have the most supportive fans in the world, and they have been so incredible to us. And we know that they're behind us, and it gives us a little bit of, like, you know, warmth. Like it makes us feel good, and we feel comfortable with them behind us.
The way these fans feel about the movie, it's like you put one Twilight person who's passionate in a room, and then you put 2 or 3 in the room, and it's like all of a sudden it builds. Like the passion just builds because it's so infectious.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you're sharing in.
Yeah.
You know, you're sharing in the love and the joy of these movies and these books, and to be able to share that together it brings people together.
You are quite vulnerable when things become really big, and so I think everyone is sort of instinctively just sort of stuck together to kind of support each other. So you have like a little team. So whenever anything bad happens, like you kind of know that the rest of the cast is there for you, however cheesy that sounds.
Breaking Dawn, the final book in the series, was split into 2 films, bringing director Bill Condon on board to wrap everything up. At this point, the actors had established a unique comfort zone with one another, something they'll probably never experience again.
In the beginning, it's a little scary, you know, but it was amazing how welcoming everyone made me feel, especially the cast, you know.
It's something so different in this version. They find themselves like they never have. Exactly. I mean, they're happy. I mean, only when you can like be relaxed and sit back and not confused can you like see. You know what I mean? And I feel like they all open their eyes for the first time in this movie, and you need to be in a pretty centered place to do that for real, and I felt like I was there because of everyone, because of how comfortable I was with Rob and Taylor and Bill.
When I'm doing scenes with Kristen, we're just ourselves. I mean, sometimes we will literally catch ourselves just laughing and having fun as Taylor and Kristen, and the camera just happens to be rolling, and that makes it in the movie, and then that's Jacob and Bella.
I'm always like really sort of nervous and anxious because I want the movies to, you know, you want to please the fans. I thought it was interesting in our press conference yesterday when someone asked Elizabeth and Peter if they read the critics' reviews, and of course, you know, we all do, but it's not the same as the fans' reviews. You know, they're the harshest critics. They're the ones that we really want to please.
I think this one was nice because it kind of, you know, if you go to more extreme places, I mean, the second and the third movie were more sort of, you know the characters, and it's kind of, it's more of an adventure with those characters, and this one went kind of back to the basics that the first one had as a very, very tight-knit group of characters.
Like, I feel the excitement, as I'm a fan of the books and a fan of the movies as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't in these movies, I would be completely obsessed, I think.
And now with the series coming to an end with Breaking Dawn Part 2, the cast reflect on their incredible journey and how it changed their lives.
Having that big cast from the beginning where we're all young and not really that known yet, and to all be part of something where you could kind of feel it on the first shoot that something was happening, and then to have this crazy formative experience with everyone. I mean, it's a massive bonding moment.
The thing that I know I'll take with me forever are these relationships. I mean, like you said, we have become family by this point, and I've made some incredible friends, and even though this is coming to an end, those friendships won't.
We fully indulged the fantasy. It was like, it also really does conclude in a way that I can't see it going any further, and the reason that I've been able to sustain, and we've all been able to sustain over 5 years with the same amount of enthusiasm as we had when we started, is because the story lent itself to that. There were so many moments like hanging over us for years, and that's, you know, a really heavy weight, and as soon as they take it off of you, as soon as you take it off of yourself and you finish the story, you do kind of miss it.
You hurt yourself, Emmett.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Great Kristen Stewart finally gets to be pretty badass in this movie, and I think it's something that she's been really waiting to sink her teeth into. Terrible pun.
We're a very active cast, and we love getting in there and fighting, especially with our characters who have superhuman powers.
We spent 2 years on that scene, you know? It's like we're pre-vising it and then shooting it and then taking it all apart, putting it back together again, and has, you know, there are over 1,000 effect shots just in that 8 minutes, you know? It's crazy how much stuff is going on.
Even though it's in a world of vampires and werewolves, it's about this young girl growing into a young woman and going through all the experiences that every young girl goes through, I suppose.
I still can't separate my own experience. So I've never really acknowledged the fact that anyone even watches the movies. I mean, I just know that I do them, and I know that I have an experience with people screaming at premieres and stuff. But like the idea that actually someone's sitting there and watching it is completely unthinkable to me. So hopefully in a few years I can get like the box set and like watch them all through and actually have the experience of watching them.
I have to report a crime. The Cullens, they've done something terrible.
It's my daughter. The Volturi think Renesmee is an immortal child.
She was born, not bitten. She grows every single day.
Oh my.
I want you to look to the camera, and this is your last chance to say what you want to the fans who've been devoted and loyal to you through this whole journey. Please.
I basically would want to say thank you for all of the support throughout the past few years. We couldn't have done this without you guys, so thank you for everything. We wouldn't be here without your help.
You know, we're just so thankful. Again, we're so passionate about these projects, and it's just been so amazing that you guys mirror the same passion. And thank you for allowing us to complete this whole saga, and we couldn't have done it without you.
Hey guys, Jackson here. Thanks for sticking with us over the course of the years, through all the different hairstyles, all the different levels of makeup, all the different looks, and you know, thank you for following us and making this series something that it's become. Because without you, it wouldn't be anything, and you make it everything. So thank you very much.
I'm so aware of the role you guys played in this and how important it was to have your support and every step of the way. You know, we were never expecting this thing to continue. Even after the second and third film, it was like we were constantly surprised by your passion and enthusiasm. So thank you for making this happen for us. Thank you.
I want to thank the fans for making this at all possible. I mean, these movies are for you and because of you. Because of you, we got to make them and keep making them. And for me personally, I've never had it such an intimate experience with fans, and this movie has sort of changed the way I relate to my work as an actress and the way that I relate to the audience, so thank you.
The greatest thing about having people stand up and say that they like something, you know, as much as you do, it's sort of like, God, well, we must have a lot in common, and I don't know, I feel like it's the same feeling that I get with a director that I love working with or an actor that I love working with. It's just because you both agree. It's like there's a commonality there, and I think that I have no message. I mean, I guess like thanks for taking the ride with me.
Thank you guys so very, very much for all your support, and it's kind of, you've driven this series to what it is basically, and I hope you all like Breaking Dawn too, because it's kind of all about you guys anyway, so hope you like it. It's terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
Why do I feel so naked looking into the camera? Like,
I know what you are. Your skin is pale white and ice cold. You don't go out into the sunlight.
Say it out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
Are you afraid?
No.
He left you, Bella. He didn't want you anymore.
I have to go.
I'll protect you, no matter what.
You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
I'll never let anybody hurt you.
This isn't real. This kind of stuff just doesn't exist.
it does in my world.